Hi all, good morning. I hope I'm audible. Kindly confirm the audio. All students who are listening to me, kindly confirm the audio. So audio and video is fine. Good morning to all of you. Welcome to the class. So we're talking about ocean bottom relief and we'll continue talking about that if I'm audible. And any messages, any doubts, any questions if you have. Good morning, sir. Happy Basant Panchami. So happy Basant Panchami to all of you. I think it started yesterday. So कल भी बसंत पंचमी मनाई गई. I think हर घर में it is celebration of the advent of spring and कुछ पीले चावल बनते हैं. हम लोगों ने पीले चावल खाए, मीठे चावल. I'm sure something nice would be happening at your end also. So festive greetings to all of you. Basant Panchami. Wishes. Good morning. Good morning. All video is okay. The day before I fill a UPSC form, my computer operator by mistake changed my optional. Sir, is it possible to change optional in correct date or not? Yes, there is a provision of changing, or you can refill the form. So that is allowed. There are dates on that. So please watch a session. I think a YouTube session has been kept on KGS website on how to correct that also. Okay. So should not be okay. Abhay is asking my father's health. It's all good. We are still in the testing phases and testing kya hai? We have to go for some operation, but we are in that process. हाँ जी सर 12th to 18th February आरती आनंद की तरफ से वो डेट्स भी आ गई हैं सो अरुण 12th to 18th February इज़ द टाइम व्हेन यू कैन पुट इन दोज एराटा तो वो वहाँ पर यूपीएससी ने नोटिफाई किया हुआ है कि अगर कोई एरर आ गया है सो दे अलाउ यू टू चेंज इन अ पर्टिकुलर टाइम सो डोंट वरी गेट दैट तो ये भी हो गया so we were talking about oceanography how gradually with time oceanography has evolved and where it has reached and we are going to look at the oceans today we are going to empty the oceans में से पानी निकालते हैं और देखते हैं oceans के नीचे क्या है three oceans we'll be talking about the three oceans that we'll be talking about are Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and Indian Ocean. And as I would want to say that we would want to look at something कि ocean के नीचे क्या निकलता है. So कुछ चीज़ें हैं जो oceans के नीचे expected है. What are expected at the bottom of the ocean? Quickly, now that we have done geomorphology, climatology, you're not beginners. So I'm asking you, what should I expect at the bottom of the ocean? And when a question comes, examine or describe the ocean bottom relief features of Pacific Ocean, then what is it that I'm supposed to write? So that is what we are going to talk about. In this, we will also talk about this technical idea, which is called the hypsographic curve, which I told you last time, and we'll continue with this. Yes. So if any questions other than this, please ask. Yes, but the question should be pertaining to oceanography. That will be better. So we are going to expect some abyssal plains, some guyot, some flat top mountains, some ridges, some trenches. Okay, very good. Sea mounts, ridges, trenches. That's coming from Tina. Abhay is saying volcanic activity. Volcanic activity हमें बतानी होगी. Okay, perfect. So let's start with today's class. So if I want to visit your city, if I want to visit your city and I ask you people that tell me what is special about your city, would you tell me about the key highlights of your city, or would you tell me a particular street जहाँ पर there is this jalebi shop which is making very good jalebi, and then there you go left and on that next turn you find one photocopy shop which is very quick in photocopy and it has got notes of all coaching institute. Would you be doing that, or would you be giving me the key highlights of your city? Obviously you'll give me the key highlights of your city, yes or no? If I need, once I reach your city, and if I say, no, I really want to get the touch and feel of your city, then you'll say, sir, आइए हमारे साथ चलिए sir, I have been into this school, this is my school, this is my college, this is where we used to hang out, यहाँ हमारा stadium है and all those things, then it will make sense, yes or no? It will make sense then. So अभी जब हम बात करते हैं ocean bottom relief, when we are talking about ocean bottom relief, always remember macros first. Always macro units will be first. Always what will be first? Macro units will be first. So if we are talking about, an ocean, so ocean bottom relief, the macro units are these: 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you get that? ये macro units. So even if you don't know much about an ocean, you haven't revised, you've forgotten, you just talk about this. After this, we go to meso and micro units. Meso and micro units. What are these meso and micro? We'll look at that. Now before we were looking at this, there were scientists who sat down and studied scientists did a bathymetric survey. Bathymetric survey was done, and what comes out of bathymetric survey? Depths, yes or no? So first, before we come to this topic called ocean bottom relief, the scientist had to do a bathymetric survey, and now you know the techniques have come. We have for accurate ones, we have echo sounders, we have satellite altimetry, or through satellite we can measure things, surface undulations and all that. And now, though, I told you we have portable submersibles, we have remote operated vehicles with cameras, lights, which will go inside and have a look at it. Yes or no? So we first will do depth survey. When they were doing depth survey, they realized that they are attending to nearly 70% of the Earth's surface. And they realized that why not, when we are studying the Earth, why not study the remaining part? Study remaining 30%. 30% is your terrestrial ones, not oceanic. And terrestrial part has got what? Terrestrial part has got heights. Heights and depths. With respect to both of them, heights and depth are measured with respect to what? Mean sea level. Get that? They decided to find out what are the areas which are deep on the Earth's surface, what are the areas which are high on the Earth's surface, and then they divided that, and they did a frequency analysis of these. Frequency analysis. So there are two things. One is this and other is this. Tell me which one will come first. Scientists are doing all the things. Scientists are telling us about the ocean bottom relief also. So scientists are going to do both the tasks, A and B. Which one will lead to the other also? Which one is more foundational? Which work is more foundational out of the two? Quickly, out of the two, which one is more foundational? So people are saying B is more foundational. Do you know what is the meaning of foundation? Everyone, do you know what is the meaning of foundation? If this is a house, the foundation lies here. On a foundation, you build a superstructure. You are telling me you'll get to know ocean bottom relief without doing a bathymetric survey? You're going to write the exam. You're going to give an interview. They'll ask you, tell me what is the foundational work. You're saying B is more foundational than A? I'm just wondering. I have no issues. I'm just looking at your common sense. पिछली बार भी बताया ओशंस में जाना अंदर बड़ी बात है यार. अंदर जाएगा, बैथीमेट्रिक सर्वे करेगा, तब ना जाके पता चलेगा कि ओशन के अंदर क्या है. सो पहले ओशन बॉटम रिलीफ पता चलेगा, उसके बाद जाके सर्वे करे. कैसे करेगा? थिंक अबाउट इट. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग ना. कॉमन सेंस इज द रेयरेस्ट सेंस. सो पहले होता है सर्वे. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज, ये जो वर्ड आता है ना फ्रीक्वेंसी एनालिसिस, डरपोक लोग इसको देख के भागते. ये वाला तो हमें रटा हुआ है. अरे फ्रीक्वेंसी एनालिसिस का क्या मतलब है कि किसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी कितनी ज़्यादा है, दैट्स ऑल. सो दे वेंट, these people, they went into this. They decided to do a survey of the oceans. How much of area is up to the depth of 0 to 200 meter? Remember that shallow depth, the photic zone? Atlantic has 13%. Oh wow, Atlantic is the winner. Atlantic is the ocean which has a lot of shallow areas. 13% of, and relatively out of the three. In all the oceans, 7.6 is the average. This is the global average. So on an average, the depth, the area in the oceans up to a depth of 0 to 200 meters is around 7.6%, and Atlantic happens to have more of these shallow areas. Get that? Which one do the oceans have more? So I see this belt is more. 1930, 1930, 30, 30, yeah. 4,000 to 500, 5,000. 4 to 5 kilometer is the most area of the oceans. In fact, 1/3 of the oceanic areas are at this depth. That means this is the common depth of the oceans. And which one has more of this area? Indian Ocean. सबसे इसमें area ज़्यादा है then this. इसमें Indian Ocean के पास ये वाला बहुत ज़्यादा. Which one goes deepest? 7,000 से भी ज़्यादा, Pacific Ocean. So this has the deepest. Now you people are so used to dictations and solving questions of mathematics. Ki tell me the differential of x square and you'll say 2x. You don't see what is the real work. Do you know one important problem with unemployment in India is that one is the jobs are limited. Second is our students are unemployable. We read a lot. हमें ये ग्राफ देखकर इसको एनालाइज करना नहीं आता. And मैं ये कह रहा हूँ, in the industry we need people who are able to collect data, analyze that data and come to conclusions. that will decide their decision whether they are going to go for the manufacturing of that product, or whether they are going to take those steps to conserve environment, whether that will help in social welfare of the people. ये data होता है. And all we want is some teacher coming and some teacher dictating and doing that. And that's why I said, sir, OBR से foundational पहला तो काम ये करेगा ना. And imagine the adventure those people will feel. जाके measure करेंगे, उसको पूरा data में डालेंगे, and then they will feel that. So it's generally 6,000. ये बहुत ज़्यादा है. तो I think इसके लिए हमने word use किया abyss. Remember abyss? Abyssopelagic. और इसको क्या किया? Epipelagic. Remember epipelagic. This is our photic zone. Photic zone. Now they are playing with this. This is where science comes. So about 29% of the Earth's surface is above sea level, representing the continent, and around 71% is this. Most land elevations. Then this is about depth. Then they looked at. So tell me, which has the maximum percentage? In which depth had the maximum percentage? 4,000 to 5,000. Yes or no? Which is the second deepest one, second most percentage one? 5,000 to 6,000. Yes. और थर्ड मोस्ट कौन सा ये? सो कैन आई से ओशंस का मैक्सिमम एरिया, if I add all these, 30, 40, 50, 60, 69 and 6, 77% इन तीन डेप्थ में है. 77% of the ocean's area lies in these three depths. And if I want to ask you, without actually going into the oceans, what will be the average depth of the oceans? If maximum area is between 3,000 to 4,000 to 6,000, 3 to 6,000 के बीच में है. Maximum area 77%. So what could be the approximate average depth? So 3 to 6,000 के बीच में है, तो 3 to 6 is 3,000 divided by 2, 1,500. So it should be 4,500. It should be 4,500. Perfect. But that's 77% of it. The remaining 23 is less than this. So will that average go down or go up? 4,500 से ज़्यादा डेप्थ होगी या कम हो जाएगी? Because 23 is much less than that. So तो 4,500 होना चाहिए था अगर if this was whole of the oceans. But actually because there is lower part also, 23 is less than 3,000. So it will come down. So हमारी एवरेज डेप्थ कितनी आनी चाहिए? 4,500 आप सोच रहे थे, बट यहां से कट कर ये 4,000 के पास आ जाएगी, समथिंग क्लोज टू 4,000. दिस इज हाउ डेटा इज डन. दे सेड लेट अस डू द सेम थिंग फॉर द लैंड ऑल्सो. लेट अस डू द सेम थिंग फॉर द लैंड ऑल्सो. लैंड भी करके देखें. लैंड को करके देखा उन्होंने. सो दे फाउंड दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द एलिवेशंस ऑन लैंड वर कमिंग अराउंड 0 to 1,000 meters. Though you have heard of Mount Everest 8850, but maximum area किसमें आया? 0 to 1,000 meter, while the majority of the area of the depth felt between 3 to 6,000. ये वाला तो आपने देख लिया. You are doing exactly what the scientists do. Scientists जाते हैं, meticulously data लेते हैं, and then they have to decide what is it below the sea level. These clusters reflect something. What do they reflect? That the crust is thinner. Crust is thinner this thing, thinner, denser in the oceanic crust, forming deep basins, and thicker in the continental crust. That is what they are coming to. Get that? अब ये जो हमने किया अभी, everyone, the scientists are also going to do that. So what they will do is, they will take this, okay, this is mean sea level. This is mean sea level. Get that? And say for example, this is what we are talking about. 0 से इधर height हो गया, and इधर क्या हो गया? Depth. Get that? Now they have the data. See how much is it? 7.6% is oceans. Okay. So 0 to 200 is 7.6%. Suppose this is what should I say? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So how much is 0 to 200? How much is 0 to 200? So 0 to, suppose this is everyone. Suppose this is, what should I say? 500, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer, 4 kilometer, 5 kilometer and 6 किलो. Can I say 7% आया ना, तो ये ऐसा हो जाएगा. 0 to 200 is 7%. True. Can I say 200 to 1000 is 4%? 200 to 1000 is 4%. What is this? 1000 to 2000 is 4.2. ये भी 4.2 है. इधर भी 4.2 आ जाएगा. Then 2000 3000 is 7. 2000 to 3000 is 7. What am I doing? I am plotting them. I am plotting these. Now we have 3000 to 4000 is 20. 3000 to 4000 is, this is percentage. 20%. 3 to 4 is 33. 4 to 5 is 33. 4 to 5 is 33%. And then this is 23. Now tell me, have you done this in school also when you made something like this? इस group में ये frequency है. Have you done this or not? You generally take this as your x-axis and y-axis and then you make frequency curve. What I have done this time is vertically I have done this. So around 33% here, 23% here. Yes or no? So which area has the maximum, where is the maximum depth in the ocean? If I have to take that average curve, people who know a little bit of curve drawing, can I say this is the frequency curve? This is the frequency curve of ocean bottoms. Where is the maximum land? Where is the maximum depth? Everyone, did we understand? Who's doing this? Scientists are doing this. They've painstakingly taken that data. I've told you how they've done this. This is called frequency analysis. Everyone, do we understand what is frequency analysis? Frequency analysis होकर क्या बनता है? Curve बनता है. अच्छा, इसे curve कहते हैं. This is the curve. So this is your sea level कहाँ है? 0, 10, 12, Q, 0. ये भी 0 हो गया. ये हमारा 0 हो गया. Mean sea level. बन गया? Everyone, do you get that? लैंड में मैक्सिमम कहां पर आया था? Where did maximum come in land? 0 to 1 kilometer. Remember? Can you see 0 to 1 kilometer? So land का कर्व कैसा बना? How was the curve of land? Land का कर्व came like this. Land का कर्व came like this. There was nothing over here. Most of them were very, very low. Is everyone okay? ये बन गया अर्थ का फ्रीक्वेंसी कर्व. Hypsographic curve, you can write down hypsographic curve. Now that you are understanding it, hypsographic curve, what does it do? Provides insights into proportion of planet's surface area lie at different elevations and different depths if you feel like. इस तरह से ये लोग काम करते हैं. The curve is a cumulative frequency plot. अब मैं ये वर्ड अगर आपको लिखवा दूं तो all of you will jump out of the window. अरे कितना डिफिकल्ट है. अरे सिंपल स्कूल वाली चीज है. फ्रीक्वेंसी का प्लॉट किया ऑफ एलिवेशंस एंड डेप्थ्स ऑन द वर्टिकल एक्सिस एंड परसेंटेज ऑन द हॉरिजॉन्टल एक्सिस. बट हम एग्जाम में ये नहीं बनाएंगे. वी विल नॉट मेक दिस इन द एग्जामिनेशन. We will not make this in the एग्जामिनेशन में क्या बनाएंगे वो अलग है। यहां पर तो एवरीवन, डिड यू गेट दैट? यहां पर कुछ आया था 29% आया, ये 0 to 1 किलोमीटर ना, फिर तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है, यहाँ पर खत्म हो जाता है। This is how the curve comes for this. So we are going to draw this. We are going to draw this. This is the hypsometric curve of Earth. But before that, a little bit on who started this whole thing. So everyone, please give the heading hypsographic or hypsometric curve. Hypsographic or hypsometric curve. And please write down. Hypsographic curve, also known as the hypsometric curve, is a graphical representation that shows the distribution of Earth's surface relative to the sea level. First, the definition. Quickly note down the definition, everyone. I want everyone to note down the definition. Okay, everyone, I just want you to write only this. The first box, hypsometric curve is a graphical representation that shows the distribution of Earth's surface elevations and depths. Please add that also. And depths. Only write this definition, then I have to add something to it. Get that? So please just write that. Get that? Now this curve, please write down. This curve and the bathymetric survey, this curve and the bathymetric surveys needed for it, this curve and the bathymetric survey needed for it took decades and many leading oceanographers jointly contributed in its development. Not the work of just one person. Many people had done this. Yes? Matthew Maury. Remember the father of oceanography? Laid the foundation of the bathymetric survey works for creating this curve. For creating this curve, Matthew Mori laid the foundation. Later, Cosina, later Cosina worked on investigating Cosina worked on investigating and compiling investigating and compiling frequency analysis data of elevation and depths, elevations and depths. So Mori was instrumental in starting it. Cosina went into a lot of compiling of data and all that. Yes. USA. Germany. You can see it is a multinational thing. Mori started it, Cosina worked on it. And finally, in 20th century, Norwegian geodesist, Norwegian geodesist if you want to, जो अर्थ को मेजर करते हैं, अदरवाइज ओशनोग्राफर लिख सकते हैं, और ओशनोग्राफर refined the hypsometric curve to its present form. To its present form. That represents the surface area, present form that represents the surface area in percentage terms, that represents the surface area proportion in percentage terms, that represents the surface area proportion in percentage terms, lying between different height and depth, lying between different height and depth, above and below MSL, above and below MSL. Everyone okay with this? Above and below this MSL. And here we are going to draw the hypsometric curve. So I have kept that box here. So my notes will be 1 page. You would have taken more. It's absolutely okay. I'm going to make the hypsometric curve out of what I have here. So first of all, we have a box. And we're going to divide it into height and elevation and depth. That's one thing. Second is, remember that frequency curve. So what is this dotted line? Everyone, do you understand what is this dotted line? Max depth frequency. Max frequency height, because of which what we will get, we are going to get this, what is the average mean elevation, 840, and similarly we'll get the mean depth, which is this thing. Get that? Here we will find that this will come almost to 30%. ये नीचे से 0 to 100 is what? Total earth surface area. ये आप किलोमीटर्स में कर सकते, 10 to the power 8 kilometers में. I like the percentage one becomes easier. Do we get that? So what are we going to do? We're going to divide this into percentage first, and in between we will have the mean sea level line also coming in. So right in the middle, can I have a line here? This is in the middle. Then I will make my markings over here. Two kilometers, 4 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 2, 4, 6, 8. Similarly, I will have 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000 meter. This side is your height in kilometer, and depth in meters. This side, percentage area cover. What will I have here? I'll have 20, 40, 60, 80. So इसको हम 10 में करते हैं. इन लोगों ने 20 में किया है. We'll go for 10. They've also gone for 10 only. So this is going to be your 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay. 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, थोड़ा सा साइड में होना चाहिए था ये. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. तो फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Now I'm going to first make the land part of it. Land, you will find that maximum height, how much is the maximum height? 8848, no? Mount Everest 8848, remember? 8800. But there is only one Mount Everest. Oh, तो उधर बहुत ज़्यादा. Area coverage is 0. So you will find that the area coverage up to 4000 is almost a vertical line. Nothing on the y-axis only. After 4000 we see a very concave curve. So very close to 2 also, 1 also, ये जाकर इधर ऐसे जाएगा and it will touch this 30. So to make your life easy, first I will identify this 30 over here. I've identified this. Get that? And then what I will do is, everyone, land I'm keeping it green. So I'll keep all this vertical till 4. Till 4, it just comes as a straight line. Till 4, keep it as a straight line. Till 2, thoda sa divergence, and then let it come here. Get that? And then what we will write here? This is 2, so this must be 1, this must be 1. So here is your average elevation. How much is the average elevation? 800 meters. Average elevation of land is 800 meters. Now we are going to go inside the oceans. Everyone, have we made the land? Once the land is done, please get to see how it is. And once you've drawn it with me, with practice, you will find हाँ यार ये easy है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. जब मौका मिले ये बना सकते. I'm going slow on this so that you can very well see it. How do we make it? That is also clear to all of you. Okay, now we are here. One interesting thing that you will see over here is from 30 onwards, you will find that this is 30. This is 30. Everyone, please pay attention. Everyone, please pay attention. Very interesting thing. How many of you can identify 1, 2, 3, and 4? What is this? Shelf, slope, basin, and trench. The 4 macro features or not? On this, not much. But here we have a very clear thing. And remember, shelves are around 7%. So इस 7% यहीं आ जाएगा. 30 है, 30 से 40 के बीच में यहाँ पे shelf खत्म हो जाएगा. Another 6 to 8% are these. So you will find the slope will end here. Can you see this? So 7.5 or 8%, that's there. And then most of it is going to be basin. But always remember, where would you end this? This is around 2 kilometers में खत्म हो जाएगा. Because 200 meters is your shelf. Shelf is 200 meters, no? And 2 kilometers is your slope. So just keep that in mind and the graph will be easy for us to draw. So say for example, let me draw it for you. Everyone, let me draw it for you. I can see this, that this is my 30 and this is where my 200 is. 200 meter is. So I know that this is going to be my 200 meter. So what I will do is, I'll keep it like this. For this part, I am like this. With me on this, everyone? After this, for the next thing, I'll be here up to 2. Everyone okay with this? I'm somewhere here, and then I will show my abyssal plane with a general slant. And remember, 4000 was our maximum area. So we will find that mean depth will be 3800. So 4000 is going to be an important area for me. So this is my 4000, everyone. This is 4000 and I am saying mean depth of oceans. (3,800 meter). So my most of my graph is going to be at this depth now. Is the curve done, everyone? How many of you learned how to draw this curve? And if you want to show us the frequency curve, you have all the time to show us the frequency curve, whereby you can show us that the maximum frequency is here. The frequency curve is also drawn. Hypsometric curve. With practice, can you draw in the exam quickly? I was just showing you what would it look like if we are doing it this ways in the class. नीचे क्या है? Percentage of Earth's surface. So maximum, what is the maximum thing in the oceans? Maximum thing in the oceans is the abyssal plains. So the macros are visible to us. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Trenches are very less. Trenches are very less. So my curve is not showing on the screen, but you will find the trenches will come and touch the 8 kilometers. ये जो है ना 8 kilometers तक जाएगा. So if you're not able to see it here, let me show it here. Can you see the 8 kilometers touching? Now tell me, are you comfortable with hypsometric curve? If the question comes on a short note, do you know who developed it? Do you know why it was developed? So is it necessary to maintain accuracy while drawing in the examination, or some mistake is manageable? See everyone, here you are, your evaluator is going to see you, he's a geographer. He knows that values are there, so maximum should come here. So अब आपका ये नीचे लेके चले गए, आप 6000 में लेके चले गए, तब प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी कि नहीं? So he knows ना डेप्थ्स, थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर नीचे हुआ चलेगा, a little bit. So photocopy थोड़ी छापना है. Did you not understand that why those values are written? Just to show you that very little land is at highlands, the mountains which you and I hear of. In percentage terms, hardly they occupy any area on earth. In percentage terms, mountains don't occupy much. It's only 4000 से थोड़ा बहुत दिखना शुरू होता है. That's what we are talking about. In fact, you should be, अगर कोई क्वेश्चन होगा तो ये तो वो क्वेश्चन हो गया ना, छोटे बच्चे वाला क्वेश्चन, सर ऐसे ही बनाना है या थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर नीचे करना है. An intelligent question should be, sir, why are we, yes, we get to know the ocean bottoms, we will get to know, but this curve, can it be of any help to us? What will be the potential practical use of this? So tell me one thing, does this broadly tell me the Earth's topography? Broadly the Earth's topography. True? Though we are talking about Mount Everest, but Earth का average height कितना है? 8 ही है. It will tell me that. First is, it will give me a hint of Earth's topography. Now second thing is, because of plate tectonics, is the topography in terms of ocean basins, are they expanding like Atlantic Ocean or shrinking like Pacific Ocean? So any change in this percentage distribution, will it show me the changes in the capacity of the ocean basins? Yes or no? And everyone remember, initially we were all all oceanic, 100% oceanic. So from oceanic, gradually is the continental crust becoming bigger or not? So that curve is still a dynamic curve. And tell me one last thing. If I know that these are the ocean basins, and ocean basins are changing in a particular way, and I can see that particular ocean basin is shrinking, will it lead to sea level changes also? So practical uses, get to know broad contours, the macro understanding of Earth's topography. With time, what changes are happening in it on account of plate tectonics, and events like, or issues that impact us, like mean sea level changes and all, they could be understood and analyzed better keeping this curve in mind. Now this is a more intelligent question rather than sir exactly यही बताना है या थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे बन गया तो. Am I a drawing teacher? Some people took geography, सचिन सर के साथ drawing अच्छी हो जाएगी. Come on यार, you don't take that pain for that. Archit is again asking a question where he is not applying his mind. You said area coverage is 8848 is 0 and 824 is vertical. That I did not understand. Imagine means what do I do? What do I do with such people? स्कूल कैसे पास करेंगे? Mount Everest, everyone. What percentage of Earth's area will a mountain cover? Quickly tell me. What percent of area would Mount Everest cover? If Earth is 100%, Mount Everest कितना होगा? Sir, minuscule, yes or no? Negligible. उसमें माउंट एवरेस्ट भी ले लीजिए, कंचनजंगा भी जोड़ दीजिए, नेग्लिजिबल. आई एम सेइंग ऑल द हाइट्स अबव 4 kilometers, they are there. They are there. But if you combine all of them, if you combine all those mighty mountains and see how much area do they cover on earth, धरती का कितना एरिया वो ले रहे हैं, that is negligible. एक ग्राफ में negligible को कैसे दिखाओगे? How will you show negligible on a graph which is 0 to 100? Where would you plot the dot if something is negligible on 0 to 100? अब वो पूछ रहा है कि सर ये समझ में नहीं आया 8848 का सर जीरो कैसे आ गया. ऐसा ऐसा सवाल पूछते हो मेरे को भी लगता है कि तो नासा जाना पड़ेगा इसके लिए. This curve, that's what I'm saying. The practical understanding, learning from this curve is that no matter how mighty mountains we are talking about, ये Mount Karakoram, this Mount Rakaposhi, this Mount Nanga Parbat, this Mount क्या है हमारा जहाँ पे वो बेंड होता है ब्रह्मपुत्र का, all those, and in fact Mount Aconcagua, Mount Cosquisco, दुनिया के सारे माउंटेन ले लो यार, ऊंचे वाले सारे माउंटेन्स ले लो, हाइट में तो रिकॉर्ड होल्डर्स हैं. You combine them together and see how much area of the earth do they occupy. आप पाओगे यार एरिया वाइज तो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, इट्स मिनिस्क्यूल. So when you plot it on a graph like this where earth is 0 to 100%, they come as minuscule. कहाँ से पता चलने लगता है? up at what height will they have actual area जो सच में दिखेगा? वो 4000 के बाद पता चला. सचिन सर 4000 ही क्यों है? भाई डेटा है, डेटा told us this. Maybe in time the data might change. Maybe higher altitude areas, if they are more in area, maybe the graph will change. True or not? So that is what is the significance of this graph. This graph will change with time. But yes, on a geological time scale. ऐसा नहीं you were born and by the time you die, you know, the hypsometric curve changes much. So we can have average elevation of all mountains but not of any specific one. ये रोशनी ने पता नहीं क्यों अपना ही दिमाग दिया है. रोशनी क्वेश्चन क्या था, आप रोशनी क्या डाल रहे हो ये बताओ. सर एवरेज एलिवेशन ही बता सकते हैं, स्पेसिफिक की. अरे बेटा एवरेज भी बता दोगे तो भी तो 8000 है ना किसी की, तो एवरेज भी 8000 आएगी. व्हाई इज इट नॉट शोइंग ऑन द ग्राफ? बिकॉज हाइट तो है बट परसेंटेज एरिया ऑन अर्थ सरफेस दैट इज नेग्लिजिबल. आप लोग मुझसे पिछले 5 मिनट पे वो बात करवा रहे हैं जो 6th क्लास में ग्राफ ड्राइंग के बच्चे को समझ में आ जाती है. यू आर आस्किंग योर ज्योग्राफी टीचर टू एक्सप्लेन यू what is this, and then you are having a debate also on which there is no point of debating. No point of debating. जो आपको 6ठी क्लास में आ जाना चाहिए था नहीं आया, 8वीं में आ जाता, 9वीं में आया, 10वीं में आ जाता, अभी भी आ जाता. अभी भी सर इस पर डिबेट कर लेते. नॉट, वी आर नॉट डिबेटिंग ऑन द ज्योग्राफी ऑफ इट. अगेन एंड अगेन in my explanation I am telling you about the geography of it, that this is going to give us a rough idea how much area is above this height, how much area is this. मैंने पहले frequency curve तक बनाया आपके लिए. अ टीचर उस गॉन टू द एक्सटेंड जो कहीं पर नहीं करवाया जाएगा, फ्रीक्वेंसी कर्व एक्सप्लेन किया, सब बना दिया, उससे बात किस पे चल रही है? सर जी ग्राफ पे जरा और चर्चा हो जाए। एक बोला कि सर ये ड्राइंग एग्जैक्टली ऐसे रखनी है या 19-20 कर सकता हूँ? बेटा इस एटीट्यूड के साथ पीटी नहीं पास होता, प्रॉब्लम ये है। डोंट टेक मी अदरवाइज, बट इफ वी आर इन दैट एटीट्यूड वी वोंट क्लियर पीटी। सचिन सर का तो टेस्ट आएगा ही नहीं, सचिन सर टेस्ट लाइज इन मेंस, वहां पहुंचेंगे नहीं। I'm तो looking at people who are smart, who will think when they are, like analyzing, when they are listening to their teacher, when they are reading their book. अच्छा ये इसलिए होगा बिकॉज आप सब बुद्धू थोड़ी हैं यार, इतनी तो समझ रखते हैं। बट वो टेक्निकल वर्ड है हिप्सोग्राफिक कर्व, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई ब्रॉट इट। आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड इट्स रेलिवेंस ऑल्सो, कि भाई ये बहुत सारी चीज़ों में हमें अंडरस्टैंडिंग, और प्रॉब्लम ये है रेलिवेंस अभी मैंने बता दी, अगर मैं लिखवा दूंगा तो यूल फील हाँ अब मेरे नोट्स पूरे हो गए, अब मैं आईएएस बन जाऊंगा। एंड आई एम सेइंग देयर आर स्टूडेंट्स हु वुड नॉट बी राइटिंग, हु आर गेटिंग इट फॉर गुड, वो सच में बन जाएंगे, वो क्लियर भी कर लेंगे। जो अपने नोट्स इकट्ठे कर रहे हैं वो तो कर ही रहे हैं। मुझे तो ये अगर हिप्सोमेट्रिक कर मुझे रिवाइज करना हो, मेरे पास सारे नाम होने चाहिए। इसमें मैंने नाम ही नहीं लिखा, तुम लोगों ने नाम पूछा ही नहीं। स्वर्ड रूप, तुम लोग इतना नोट्स लिख रहे थे, तुम लोगों ने मुझसे पूछा भी नहीं इसका नाम क्या है, सोचो, इमेजिन योर डाउट। आई फॉरगॉट टू राइट स्वर्ड रूप, वो तो मैं अच्छा हुआ रिवाइज कर लिया, यार कुछ मिस तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मौरी हो गया, ये हो गया। तो नॉर्वेजियन ओशनोग्राफर्स वर्ड रूप finally refined it, so some names will come, and again saying come on यार रेज द गेम, एग्जाम पास में आ रहा है, रेज द गेम। डरे हुए लोग एग्जाम पास नहीं करते। डन, नोट्स पूरे हुए कि नहीं, छापा कि नहीं? What is the continental margin? Continental margin is the continental plate itself, which is submerged, and that's what we are talking about. Is everyone okay? So, seaward extension of sea margin, continental margin, up to a depth of 100 fathom, 200 meter. Epipelagic, euphotic life zone. It is the seaward extension up to a depth of 100 feet. Sorry, 100 fathom. Get that? And this is what we are talking about. Do we get that? Epipelagic means upper 200 meters. Euphotic means it has light. Life zone means photosynthesis, everything is happening over here. ठीक है? True. उसके बाद its average slope angle when we are talking about 1 to 2 degrees. 1 degree, 2 degree, very gentle sloping. It is gentle sloping. Gentle gradient 1 in 500. Gentle gradient 1 in 500. Global average width so it varies. The width varies, the depth is fixed, the width varies, and average is around 65 kilometers. Get that? They are wider along river mouths or flat coastal plains, and they are narrow along coastal highlands, mountain or plateaus. If the coast has got plains or river mouth, they are wide. If the coast has got mountains parallel to the coast, then they are narrow. Get that? Coastal highlands, mountains or plateaus parallel to coast जब होता है they are narrow. Everyone with me on this? And they occupy around how much area of the world? How much percentage area of the world do they occupy? 7.6%. 7.6%. Can I write here 7.6% as a figure? That's your continental shelf. Is everyone okay? Continental slope कितना होगा? Because it goes from a depth of up to 2000 meter, up to 2000 meter and even 3000 भी चला जाता है. 2000 तक का कैलकुलेट करके बताओ कितना होगा. 7.6 तो गया. 7.6 is gone. How much will be the continental slope? 8.5. Do you get that? Important. That survey is important. Around 8.5% of the total ocean basin. 8.5% of the total ocean basin. So can I write 8.5% here? I'm not making up on my own. NCERT में भी लिखा होगा. डेटा पर बेस्ड है. डेटा पर बेस्ड है. Yes. So यहाँ पर क्या लिखना है? Let us look at that. Seaward of shelf break up to a depth of 2000 meter. So this is called shelf break. So seaward of shelf break, I'm parallel to that only so that you can compare it also. Seaward of that is what we are talking about. अभी यूफोटिक तो नहीं है, कौन सा हो जाएगा जल्दी से बताओ. Is it epipelagic? Is it epipelagic? No sir, it is mesopelagic. And dysphotic zone. डिस्फोटिक हो जाएगा कि नहीं हो जाएगा जल्दी से बताइए. विल इट बिकम डिस्फोटिक और नॉट? ट्रू. You can also add on your own. In this average slope, 2 to 5 degrees. Get that? Variable can go up to 60 degrees also. At some places it is very steep and it can go up to 60 degrees. It has variable. It is variable. Get that? Where in the world is it located? Again, variable across oceans. Sediments do not stop on this. So devoid of sediments or deposits. Deposits roll down. Whatever, because of the slope, they will roll down and form continental rise at its foot. So at the foot of this, we will find continental rise. What is it? I will explain that also. Do not worry. What are these? What are your trenches? What is a trench, everyone? You've heard of trenches. What are trenches? How would we talk about them? Long, narrow, deep depressions. Long, narrow, deep depressions of the ocean floor with steep sides. Those are your trenches. Long, narrow, deep, you're correct. Generally created in subduction zones. Where are they created? Created generally in the subduction zones. Get that? So this is trench and deep. We'll talk about them in detail, but first we are probably trying to identify them. That's what we are talking about. Yes? Tectonic origin. They are tectonic in origin. They originate tectonically. That's what we are talking about. Get that? What are these then? Great, nearly flat, wide plains with enormous extent. Enormous extent. Why am I emphasizing this? Because land plains cannot match them. Land plains can't match them. Get that? The depth ranges between 2 kilometers to 6 kilometers, where we saw the average will be 4.5. 4.5. Get that? They are covered with pelagic deposits and have micro relief features. So they are not devoid of features. They will have their own micro relief features that we are talking of. Is everyone okay with this? So we are talking about the micro relief features, which will go after this, but that's what we are supposed to mention here when we are working on this. कितने परसेंट है ये? 82.7%. 82.7% of the total oceanic area. Now, if we add all of them, how much does it come? 8, 7, 15, 16.1, 16.1 and 82.7. 16.1 and 82.7 makes it 98.8. Yes. Can I say 1.1%? We'll go here. Everyone, did we get 100? Did we get 100 or do I need to change? Did we get 100 or do I need to change quickly? I'm looking at how much went into this. Point 1 has to be added. 0.1 कर देते 1.2% चलेगा. At one place we should be clear कि हमारे पास अगर macro revise करना है, so that is one place where I am very clear that I can revise everything. With me on this, any questions on this? If you have any questions, you're not able to make it, please let me know. Whatever is there, we can talk about it. We're talking about macros और macros में हमारे mesos भी निकल आएंगे. Let's play with continental shelf for some time. Is it visible on the screen? Yeah. What's so special about continental shelf? So when we are talking about continental shelf, we talked about a very special region. Yes? Can I say it's a transitional zone? True. In fact, this area, the shelf should have littoral and neritic. Will it have littoral and neritic zones? Yes or no? More than 90% of the biomass, oceans, lie here. Why? Can anyone tell me why? So because it is the photic zone, all the photosynthesis is happening here. Absolutely correct. Yes or no? Okay, perfect. How was it formed? तो biomass है. So can I say this is good for fishing belts or fishing zones? Yes. Can I also say fossil fuel? Possible. More fishing zones on this. They can be easy mineral wealth. Very, very important. So that is why we are looking at a lot of fight will happen because of that. True. How is it formed? Varied views on this. Number one, it can be depositional. River brought its sediments or the biotic component, corals died, they left behind a lot of this thing. Possible? So the river brought a lot of sediments over. उस sediments की वजह से this area has become shallow. Possible, everyone, or maybe calcium carbonate. That's one view. That's one view. Second is endogenetic forces causing submergence or tilting. Possible. The both of them are endogenetic only, but I have kept it as a separate one. So the coast was there, waves kept on cutting, and they flattened it. And now we have a wave cut platform. Wave cut platform is an erosional surface that is left after the coastal erosion. After the coastal erosion, the erosional surface that is left is called a wave cut platform. So wave cut platform may be possible. Possible or not, everyone with me on this? Clear? ये भी हो गया. और कोई तरीका? I mean, if you understood all of them, how continental shelf might be created. How continental shelf might be created. So during ice age, what happens? Sea level will fall down, and the sea will start eroding over here. Ice age. It will cut this, and when the sea level goes up, this area will become a flat submerged area or not flat shallow area. तो उससे क्या बन जाएगा हमारा continental shelf. Is everyone okay with this? Is everyone okay with this? So these are the formation theories of continental shelf. What is continental shelf? What is its significance and how is it formed? Can you answer this question? Continental shelf is important. इसलिए इसको थोड़ी सी इज्जत हमने दे दी है. थोड़ा सा स्लोप के बारे में भी बताऊंगा. Not much, but उसमें एक फीचर होता है सबमरीन कैनियन that we need to talk about, that I'll be talking about after this. Is everyone okay with continental shelf also? What are we doing? We are talking about ocean bottom relief features. We are talking about the macros today. And the macros, all possible questions which are there, which the examiner will ask, उस सारी चीज़ें मैं cover कराने वाला. I'm going to do that with you. Everyone, if that is fine, can we go for a break? Small little break and we join back at 11:45. वापस मिलते 11:45। 7 मिनट ब्रेक दे दिया। Hey everyone, are we back? All students, am I audible, visible? We were talking about shelves. It's 11:45, time to be back. Okay, so everyone is back and we are talking about hypsographic curve. Hypsometric curve is for you. You understood that ocean bottom reliefs. We're talking about these. Can you see the continental edge where the continental margin is submerged? This flat, nearly flat, featureless, or gently sloping one is called the slope. Shelf. Then the edge of the shelf is called the shelf break, and then the slope, some trenches. And when we write red clay oozes, we'll talk about them. These are the sediments. Continental shelf is intrinsically an extension of the continent. Gradient 1 to 2 degrees, it is the seaward limit. 100 fathom, 90% of the biomass that you've already done. Slope is 8.5%. Continental rise is a transitional zone. We'll talk about continental rise after this. Abyssal plain, we are done with this. I thought of talking about this. Bank, shoal and reef. Bank, shoal, reef. What are these? These are, and I'll also be talking about this. So now we are talking about the micro features. Macro done. Macro par hi I'm going to plant micro features. So let us look at this. We are still talking about continental shelf, and on the shelf we also found some other features. On the shelf we found some other features, and these features will be referred to as the micro features. So marine features formed through erosion, deposition or biological activities. Erosion, deposition or biological activities. Banks. What are banks? They are relatively flat topped elevations. Flat topped elevations located on the continental margins are sites for most productive fishing grounds. So fishing grounds कहाँ पर होते हैं? यहाँ पर होते हैं. And like the Dogger Bank and the Grand Bank. Shoals are detached elevations. So these are also isolated elevations. These are also detached elevations, but they are dangerous to surface navigation. Coral reefs are masses of limestone and dolomite accumulated mainly by lime secrete organisms called polyps. So इनसे मुलाकात की जाए. ठीक है. Micro features. Due to erosion, deposition or biological activities. Okay. What are these? Let me show you these things. This is C. This is B. And this is A. A, B and C. A, B and C. A is a shoal. शोल ही रखा है हमने या कुछ और रखा है? शोल ही रखा है. शोल. B is a bank and C is a coral reef. Isolated elevation Dangerous for navigation. Dangerous for navigation. Bank, shallow, flat, elevation, good fishing conditions. Not dangerous. Not dangerous to navigation. Coral reef, biological structures of limestone and dolomite. So your continental shelf itself can have features which are here. If you did not get them, let me put another words here. A, B, and this is C. Here is a ship which is going. Ship can pass through B, but ship will collide with A. A is dangerous to surface navigation. A is also shallow region. A will also have fish. शोल में भी बहुत सारे फिश होंगे, लेकिन अगर शिप जाएगा तो इट इज सो शैलो, इट डज नॉट ऑफर सफिशिएंट डेप्थ टू द शिप, so the ship can collide with that shoal. So that is why it is called that the shoal is dangerous to surface navigation. Is everyone okay? Have I made it clear? So all questions pertaining to continental shelf. और वर्ल्ड में कॉन्टिनेंटल शेल्फ कहाँ पर ज़्यादा है ये भी लिख लेना चाहिए. सबसे ज़्यादा कहाँ पर है? अटलांटिक ओशन. अटलांटिक ओशन. अटलांटिक ओशन. अल्ट क्यों लिख दिया मैंने? अटलांटिक में सबसे ज़्यादा है. व्हेन वी आर लुकिंग एट, किधर था डेटा हमारे पास से, किधर गया? ओशन वाइज वी हैड ना, अटलांटिक में 13, पैसिफिक में 5.7, 4.2. पैसिफिक इंडियन 5.7%, 4.2%, 13% ही था. कितना है? 13.3%. All that you need to know about continental shelf. Where do we have the deepest continental shelves in the world? Deepest continental shelves in the world are along Antarctica. Deepest continental shelf are in the Southern Ocean. Widest, when we are looking at in percentage term here, and in the Southern Ocean, it is there that we have the deepest of the continental shelves. Is everyone with me on this? If any question, please feel free to ask. Continental slope, continental rise, and continental submarine canyons. Laptop Sea shelf has the also the deepest. So Krishna, I'm talking about oceans. Oceans की अभी बात चल रही है. We are not talking about the छोटू छोटू seas. Yes, So we'll look at that. The normal organism body floats on water, but why marine organism deposit at the bottom of the ocean? So everyone, please understand, normal organism's body will not float on water, does not float on water. It is air in their body which is causing them to float. Get that? Once their body disintegrates, into those fine, minute particles, it will also settle down at the bottom. Get that? So why deepest continental shelf are there in the Southern Ocean? So that is to do with isostasy. So the question is, why did you say continental slopes are deepest? Say for example, everyone, don't draw this. Normally continental shelf is like this, yes or no? Suppose this is a continent or something shallow part. Get that? And up to what depth? 200 मीटर, ऐसा ही? Can we do that? अब अंटार्कटिका में एक अलग सिचुएशन हो गया. अंटार्कटिका में ये कॉन्टिनेंट है. The continent should have been here in Antarctica. The continent, the sea level is here only. The continent should have been here. But because of the weight of the ice, what has happened to the continent? Continent has been depressed. Sea level is the same. So now what is the depth of the shelf? Will the depth of the shelf increase more than 200 meters or not? So, but you said continental shelf is up to 200 meters. Exception here. These shelves are as deep as 1 kilometers, 1.5 kilometers. They are flat only. But because of that pressing, it has gone deep inside. So when somebody talked about Laptev Sea, where is Laptev Sea? Laptev is Arctic region. Remember Arctic region? So Arctic region also, ice is there. Ice will cause it to suppress. So we'll have that. Do we get this? So this is there. Everyone, can we come to the continental slope? Now that I have answered your questions, 2 questions were asked. Krishna had asked a question. No, Chaviraj had asked a question. Roshni, I hope you got your answers. Let's continue. थोड़ा सा ड्राइंग करवाने वाला हूँ. A little bit of drawing. What is 1? What is 2? What is 1? What is 2? From this diagram, what is 1? What is 2? So 1 is the shelf, 2 is the slope. Okay, perfect. What is this? A river. What will the river bring? River will bring sediments. Sediments will get deposited, yes or no? Rivers are bringing sediments, yes or no? Which one will have more sediments? Slope or the shelf? Slope or the shelf? Slope or the shelf? Shelf. That's it. So sediments are there here also, but less. Sediments are there here also, but less. Remember that free face idea? The slope is less, so more sediments on the shelf, less sediments on this. Is everyone okay? Now, I have to show you an interesting thing. Scientists found strange features. They found such deep valleys. They found such deep furrows, gullies on the continental slope. Slope में इस तरह के गलीज है. Do you get that? Three-dimensional ones. Three-dimensional ones. I hope you can understand them. जो लोग नहीं समझ पा रहे उनके लिए मैं ऐसे बना देता हूँ. बीच में ऐसे नाली है. Is it giving you a 3D effect? Yes. Is it giving you a 3D effect or not? Or no? ऐसा मिल रहा है उधर. Yes. And इधर pile of sediments मिल रहा है. इधर sediments भरे हुए. Is everyone able to appreciate this 3D drawing which I have made? समझ गए तो अच्छी बात, नहीं समझे तो भी कुछ कर तो सकता नहीं मैं. Yes. तो ये देखा गया. First of all, this was observed. This was observed along the slopes. Along the slopes. These were called submarine canyons. Remember, canyons are what? V-shaped valleys, I-shaped valleys, vertical narrow furrows, gullies. Like if you see my hand has got between the fingers, there are grooves, no? So such grooves are seen in this. And at the bottom, we find a sedimentary feature, which is called the continental rise. That's what is written over here. Submarine canyons and continental rise. So UPSC once went to the हरकत of asking us short note on submarine canyons. अब कैसे करें यार? ठीक है, submarine canyons. We're talking about submarine canyons. So as I said, I need to cover all of that. So what are submarine canyons? Submarine canyons are deep furrows or gullies along the continental slope, down slope, and these have steep walls. They are steep valleys. How are they created? Remains I don't know. Remains a matter of debate. And generally at their foot, we see depositional feature which is called continental rise. First of all, by diagram, is it clear to you what is a what is a submarine canyon? ठीक है. So now there is this student Chaviraj who jumps the gun always. Sir, glacial work. कहाँ है glacier? And does glacier create gullies? This deep ocean, no? 200, 2000 meter. So they were wondering. They said, like some of the rivers, they slow down. Some of the rivers, they slow down when they meet the sea and they start depositing their sediments. And what do they form? When the rivers deposit their sediments, what do they form? They form delta. Yes or no? But some rivers are still very swift when they reach the coast. Some rivers are still very swift when they reach the coast. And instead of forming a delta, they sort of form an estuary. Have you heard of an estuary? True or not? And if they go straight inside the water, under the water, will there be friction or not? They will be forming friction, and because of friction, what will happen? They will be forced to deposit their material. Can that material pile up here? Yes or no? Can that material pile up here? Can I say these are the mouths of the river जो यहाँ तक ले आए, इतना सारा material यहाँ पर हो गया, and then what happened? This material just rolled down. जहाँ river का mouth था वहाँ पे वो नीचे बह के आ गया. And just like, have you heard of that thing, that happens in the mountains? Suddenly a flood of ice comes down. We call it avalanche. So an avalanche of sediments just ran down here, got deposited here, और पीछे क्या छोड़ दिया? ये छोड़ दिया. Does it make sense? A plausible explanation. Is it okay? A plausible explanation कि ये आया कैसे होगा? How did this come? Yes. So maybe a river, instead of forming a delta, went all the way on the continental shelf, and shelf was very narrow. So here we have Archit talking about West Peninsular India. So Peninsular India, West Coast, the coastline is narrow and rivers straight away enter into it. When the rivers will straight away enter into it and the coastline, the shelf finishes, will they take the sediments almost to the edge of the shelf, and from there can it slump and roll over and create this furrow? Possible? Possible or not? Good explanation. The turbidity current and slumping model. This is called slumping model. So what is a submarine canyon? Submarine canyons are linear deep valleys. Linear deep valleys or gullies or furrows with steep walls along the continental slope. Get that? Getting along the continental slope. Lie perpendicular to coastline. Numerous explanations have I explained this? Roshni says, sir, now getting book से समझ नहीं आया था. She read it from the book. She did not understand it. But now are you getting it? That's why I made you the diagram first. I said once we make the diagram, the thing is easily understandable. Possible or not? Can be along river mouths. At shelf break region. All sediments will have a point where it can take a weight. After a point, if you are loading it, suddenly it will topple. Yes or no? इसको हम angle of repose बोलते हैं. Of every sediment, a sediment will settle at a particular angle. If you put more on that, the cone is not stable. Extra sediment will just flow down, and when it flows and it slumps, that creates that. Second is, how many of you would allow me this liberty to say that these can be faulting or cracks on continental shelf? Possible? So cracks came on that. Crack भी तो हो सकता है, इधर से ही crack आ गया. Not everywhere, but if there were cracks. So remember, transverse fault and all those faults can come. If a fault line is created, is it possible or not? That's also there. So it can be because of faulting, some cracks happened, वहाँ से वो crack हो रहा है. Just like plate is cracking, remember Africa, the Horn of Africa is cracking, how Red Sea was created. Possible. That's also there. As I said, अभी कोई ऐसा agreement नहीं है कि इसीलिए हुआ है. So that's what I'm saying. There are multiple theories on this. So when we are explaining that, that is what we are talking about. However, submarine canyons should not be don't see submarine canyon as a trench, because trench is also long linear furrow or a depression. Long linear furrow or a depression. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between a trench and a submarine canyon if both of them are those V-shaped valleys? What is the difference between them? If I may ask you the difference, what is the difference between them? So trench will be formed due to subduction of plate. Very good, Krishna Yadav. Subduction. So submarine canyon is on the continental slope, while trench is at the zone of subduction. Very good. So first of all, the canyon lies on the continental margin. Continental margin, remember? These two are continental margin. Trench will come here. Trench will form here. Yes or no? Trench will form after this. Trench lies at the interface of oceanic and continental crust. This lies completely on the continental crust. One difference is, everyone okay with the location? This one lies totally on the continent, that lies at the interface of, because after this what will start? After this the oceanic plate will start. I hope you can understand this appreciate this 3D diagram which I have made. True? That's one. Second thing is, can you very clearly see in the diagram that trenches are parallel to the coastline and canyon is perpendicular to the coastline? Can you see that difference also? Big difference. So their location are different, their direction and orientation are different. The submarine canyon is located on the continental margin, I want to tell you, some of you, that some submarine canyons may start from here itself. Possible यहाँ से शुरू हो गया हो. Is it possible that it started from there? So it may start somewhere in the shelf. Maybe the shelf was having some angle, yes or no? And then that is there. So it lies on the continental margin, but the trench lies on the interface of the two, the oceanic plate and the continental plate. Second thing is, as we said, that one lies perpendicular to the coastline. But here we are looking at parallel to the coastline. And third, which is the most important thing, is that your oceanic trench is a macro feature. Oceanic trench is created because of plate subduction tectonic reasons. Plate subduction tectonic reasons. But submarine canyon can be created because of denudational regions, mass wasting regions, yes or no? It is just an exogenic thing, no? It is just a sedimentary thing. So the trench is a macro thing, trench is a big thing, वहाँ plates collide कर रही. It is clearly a tectonic event. But this is an erosional event, and continental rise is a depositional event, yes or no? Continental rise is created because of depositional. And what is this? Erosion. And this is papa of all. Trench is what? Trench is tectonic. Everyone clear? Archit is saying located deep ocean and canyon on continental slope. तो अर्चित आपको स्टैंडर्ड लैंग्वेज दे रहा हूँ, बाकी आपकी श्रद्धा है, आप चाहो तो बचपना कर सकते हो. आई एम सेइंग द कैनियन इज लोकेटेड ऑन कॉन्टिनेंटल मार्जिन, whereas tectonic is at the interface of oceanic and continental plate. बाकी आपकी श्रद्धा है अर्चित, जो आपको करना हो एग्जाम में मार्क्स अकॉर्डिंगली मिलेंगे. I've given you the language also, I've given you the diagram also. I hope this brings a lot of clarity to you. And if a question comes, you should be able to write something about it. And since the question has come before also, so I want to tell you that submarine canyons, some of the locations, some popular trenches तो आपको पता ही है, but when we are talking about these submarine canyons, we must have their locations also. So along the east coast of USA from Canada till Cape Hatteras. East coast of North America from Canada में भी न्यूफाउंडलैंड लिख देते हैं to Cape Hatteras. People who do not know where is Cape Hatteras. So this is Newfoundland, and here we have Cape Hatteras. मेरे ख्याल से वहाँ पे वर्जीनिया होगा. वर्जीनिया इज द सिटी, और यहाँ पर आपको मिलेंगे ठीक है. एग्जाम्पल यहीं पर हडसन रिवर के सामने है, हडसन कैनियन. At the mouth of river Hudson, we have Hudson Canyon. We have another famous one which is called the Oceanographer's Canyon. That is here. Get that? So that's what we are talking about, so that you can understand that is one location. Second is along California and Gulf of Mexico. एक और डाल दिया. Are we clear? And for continental rise also, did we understand? Everyone with me on this? For continental rise also, we have understood something. That's what we are talking about. Okay. This was shelf is done, slope is done, and now trenches. Oceanic trenches. (1.2% area? Yes or no? 1.2% of the area that we are talking about. Linear depressions created along active converging plate boundaries where oceanic plate subduct to create trenches. Generally, the continental plate and this is the oceanic plate. So this is where we have the trench going along. Do we get that? Linear depression. So this is what? This is your slope. And on the slope, what do you have? These might be your canyons. Yes. So tectonic in origin, tectonic macro feature. They are tectonic, they are and macro feature. Lie parallel, lie in an orientation generally parallel to coastal fold mountain range. People who do not know what is MT, fold के आगे MT क्या लिखा हुआ है, लीव ज्योग्राफी एज एन ऑप्शनल. ठीक है, छोड़ देना. अगर इस पे डाउट हो तो ड्रॉप ज्योग्राफी. यू मे नॉट बी एबल टू क्रिएट मैजिक आउट ऑफ इट. ठीक है. डीप्स. Micro relief features within a trench. Micro relief feature within a trench. They refer to isolated deep sections Everyone, did you get the difference between a trench and a deep? Did you get the difference between a trench and a deep? Please add on the bathymetric surveys of the oceans revealed. The bathymetric survey of the oceans revealed a very unique elevation feature in the abyssal plains. This feature of a linear extensive this feature of a linear extensive mountain range was referred to as the oceanic ridge. In fact, in fact, in fact, a continuous, unbroken mountainous chain of length nearly 70,000 kilometer, apparently connecting all oceans, was the most visible, conspicuous feature of ocean bottoms. Uh, latter half, latter half of 20th century witnessed the rise of ideas of seafloor spreading and plate tectonic theory, PT theory, clearly explained, clearly explained that these ridges are created along, are created volcanically along divergent oceanic plate margins. ठीक है, तो ये हो गए ओशियानिक रिजेस, ओशियानिक रिजेस. generally aged, या एज तो ओशन वाइज अलग हो जाएगी, so let's take it away. Generally Atlantic Ocean में it was aged 180 to 200 million years, but that's gone, so we are not bothered about that. Are we done? So example क्या है? Mid Atlantic Ridge, Southeast Pacific Rise, rise और ridge, ये इसके एग्जाम्पल्स. rise और ridge. As the ridge is located on divergent margins, with time the fragments of ridge are pushed away from the divergent boundary towards margins of the ocean. Is everyone okay with this statement? As it is expanding, the ridge is being pushed away from the margin towards the thing. Yes? True? Do you agree with this statement? तो जब ये बाहर को जाएगा, can it break, can it lose its alignment? Yes, because of transform faults and all those things. True? And can it get eroded with time? Possible? Okay. With time, the continuity of the ridge may break on account of transform faulting. सर ये समझ नहीं आया, बना के दिखाता हूँ. This is the ridge. With time, what will happen? Possible the ridge has broken because of the faulting along this line. So the continuous ridge has come out of it. It has broken down. Yes. Transform faulting and may get eroded to form smaller fragments identifiable as sea mounts, abyssal hills, सी माउंट्स, एबिसल हिल्स एंड गेऑट. ये भी बन सकते हैं, ये इन्हीं के टुकड़े निकल कर आ गए. देयर इज दिस स्मॉल लिटिल वन लेफ्ट, बस इतना सही रह गया. small little something is left like this, all broken, तब चला गया. Possible or not? So what are these? What is isolated elevations in abyssal plain, height less than 1000 meter. Abyssal hill, isolated elevation in abyssal plain, height more than 1000 meter. Gayot is what? A flat topped sea mount. Top may be flattened due to erosion or deposition close to sea surface. तो ये रिज था, रिज इज गेटिंग पुश्ड and its fragments are there. It might be broken ridge, it might be those fragments, sea mount, gayot. These are micro features. These are micro features with definition. I have given you this. The topic today was ocean bottom relief features. You have sufficient to answer a full question for 20 marks. If you are given fragment questions, just talk about continental shelf, just talk about say these submarine canyons or trenches. You have enough things to talk about that. Another important thing that we talked about is the bathymetric surveys helped us create a graphical representation of the elevations and depth and their frequency distribution along the oceans, and that is called a hypsometric curve. Is everyone with me on this? I know the class was a little boring because it was just information. I hope you survived. Break भी मैंने इसलिए 5 की जगह 7 मिनट दे दिया था. Today I got a chance to conduct a full class, so I did not have to go to hospital. We have to go to the hospital around 4 o'clock, but I have been cancelling so many Hindi classes. So I wanted to take those Hindi classes, so my father would be going there on his own to collect some reports. So today will be that. Tomorrow you have a class, do not worry. We'll try and keep as many classes as possible so that we can go through it. My request to all of you, even if you found this very boring, एक बार book से भी पढ़ लीजिएगा. Yes, and my intention was to cover all of them in one go. ये सब चीज़ें जब हिप्सोग्राफिक कर्व आपके उसमें बहुत अच्छे से नहीं दिया होता, so I thought of giving some time. I've given you considerable time for that. We have got questions on this. I also told you the significance of that so that you can make a difference on that. Ocean bottom relief, this is what we were talking about. Now you know what is the ocean. Ocean is not just flat water. उसके नीचे बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं. So this is trenches and beach में sea mounts and ridges. They are also there. Continental shelf we've talked about today. Submarine ridge, there is almost a continuous chain of oceanic ridge exceeding 75,000 kilometers encircling the globe. They provide a clear evidence that globally tectonics is happening. Ridges are sites of plate divergence where new oceanic crust is created. I have told you about things in my own way. Abyssal hills, seamounts, gayots. Now you know these are Chotu features on the deep floor having volcanic or tectonic origin. Generally, they can be because of volcanic. Isolated volcanoes can also create a abyssal hill. It does not have to be that abyssal hill, Sachin sir told, is a leftover part of the mid-oceanic ridge. Not necessary. There can be an isolated volcano and it created a localized height. If the height is less than 1000 meter, it will be an abyssal hill. If it is more, it will be a sea mount. So only height is the criteria. ये मैंने गलत लिखा है. आई एम सॉरी. इसको सही करो. पता नहीं हाउ डिड आई मैनेज टू राइट इट रॉन्ग. एबिसल हिल. सो टीचर भी गलत लिख सकते हैं. एंड सी माउंट्स. यहाँ पे मैंने ठीक लिखा था. flat topped seamount. So seamount means Guyot naturally becomes more than 1000 meter because it is a seamount. So flat topped seamount is called this. My mistake, उधर एक mistake हो गया था, but that's there. And then Guyot's in Pacific Ocean. Submarine trenches and deeps are along narrow, elongated, steep-sided, V-shaped valleys. Tectonic origin found in converging plate boundaries. So we have talked about these trenches and deeps also. Submarine canyons, we have talked about that. Islands. Islands क्या होते हैं? Islands, if they come above the surface of water, these isolated features like Guyot or Abyssal Hill or the seamount, they will come out of this. So these are islands: continental island, volcanic island, and coral island. We'll be talking about corals later also, so do not worry about that. And remember, volcanic island we've already done in geomorphology hotspots like Hawaii, so that's also there. So ये सारी हम बात कर चुके हैं. That is why I'm going through this. Tomorrow's class will be ocean wise, ocean bottom relief. We'll be looking at the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic में क्या है? Please, this is to be memorized. So please have a look at this. I'll make it easy for you. Atlantic हो जाएगा. Atlantic में सब क्या है? Transform fault क्या होता है? We'll be looking at that. Then we will have, this is your Pacific Ocean. And after Pacific, what do we have? Indian आएगा. Indian Ocean. These are the things that we are talking about. Is everyone clear about that? कल OBR खत्म हो जाएगा इन तीनों ओशंस का. फिर हमें क्या करना चाहिए? Let's go to UNCLOS. UNCLOS is the law of dividing the oceans. So I'll talk something about UNCLOS also in tomorrow's class. So tomorrow's class is about ocean wise, OBR and UNCLOS. That's in our syllabus, so we'll be completing that. That's for tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Take good care of yourself. Please read NCRTs. It is really interesting scoring area. So that's what we are talking about. Get that? The Telegram group नहीं बनाया, टाइम अनाउंस कर दूंगा, कल कर दूंगा, रोज कल हो रहा है, बिकॉज आई थिंक I'll use a old Telegram group, but I need to put some things in that and I have to remove certain things from the old one, so then only I can offer that to you. Get that? Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Jai Hind.